What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Shameless Watch Collector. Some of you may remember a video from a few months ago when we went watch shopping in Japan, and I got all of the watches that you see in front of me here today, including the one on my wrist too. That was courtesy of a company called JPFans. It literally feels like you are shopping in Japan with JPFans, giving you the ability to get watches that are really difficult to get in the States. And thanks to all of you guys watching that video and supporting me, JPFans hit us up for a round 2. I'll be honest with you guys, the first time that JPFans hit me up for this project, I didn't really know how to approach it when it came to this shopping. So when I was looking for watches, I kind of just went with the obvious, right? A Duro in a colorway I'd never seen before, a GA 2100 for an obscenely low price, and also a Seiko for under $50. I mean, who can say no to that? But this time, I wanted to go all in on JDM watches. Watches that aren't necessarily rare in Japan, but are rare in the States. I think a lot of the watches in this video, you guys might never have heard of. Some of them are related to Seiko. I learned so much shopping for these watches, researching these brands, and learning all about Japanese watch culture, and I'm so excited to share with you guys. And I'll say this much, that first video is now going to be us getting our feet wet when it comes to Japanese watch shopping, because this video is us going all in. Let's get into it. So this is going to be a lot different than the first JPFans video where we just unboxed these 5 watches. I have 5 watches again, don't you worry, and I like these ones even more, but we're going to be looking into all these brands. There's 4 different brands here, and we're going to be talking about who these brands are, what their place is in the Japanese watch market, and where they are in Japanese culture. And if they're related to Seiko, we'll talk about that too. And obviously I know what I bought, but I have not opened any of these watches. So we're going to be experiencing these ones for the first time together. And before we get into unboxing these watches, for those who don't know how JPFans works, I'm gonna go ahead and explain that real quick. Basically what they do is they give a global audience direct access to online marketplaces in Japan. Ones like Mercari, Yahoo, Rakuten, and Amazon Japan. You search these marketplaces like you're in Japan, find an item, and JPFans takes care of the rest. They purchase it from the seller and ship it to their warehouse. Once it arrives, they take pictures of it so you can make sure the condition matches the listing. You can keep the items in the warehouse for a while if you plan to shop more, and once you're ready, they'll package everything together and provide you with a shipping quote from Japan to wherever you are in the world. JPFans give me a budget to go shopping with, and I felt like a kid on Christmas morning. We all know how many iconic watch brands come out of Japan, and my goodness, the prices over there are so much better than they are for me over here in the US. So let's unbox these 5 watches straight out of Japan together, and I'll show you guys the prices I paid for each one as we go. So first up, we do have a company that's related to Seiko. Let's talk a little bit about who they are. Alba was born in Japan in 1979, and this one is very directly connected to Seiko. Alba's own official history describes it as a brand created by Seiko Watch Corporation, and it specifically frames Alba around value, quality, fresh design, and an approachable price point, where Seiko could make watches for younger buyers, casual buyers, students, first-time watch owners, and people who wanted a reliable Japanese watch without paying Seiko branded money. It's the kind of brand that makes a ton of sense in Japan and across Asia because not every buyer wants a heritage-heavy mechanical watch. A lot of people simply want a clean, durable, good-looking watch from a company they trust and recognize. Alba separates the brand into categories like mechanical, signa, prestige, fashion, and active, which tells you a lot about the brand's personality. It isn't trying to be one thing. Alba is a broad, everyday watch brand. And if you dig into vintage Alba, you'll find some of the weirdest, most fun designs that Seiko has ever allowed into production. That's one of the big reasons that collectors like Alba so much. The modern stuff is usually simple and practical, but vintage can be absolutely wild. One of the best examples is the spoon, launched in 1995, and it became popular with young people, with a playful, rounded design that looked like it had almost been scooped out with the spoon. That's the side of Alba that I think a lot of American collectors miss. It isn't simply cheap Seiko. Alba was a place for Seiko to have some fun. You also have the AKA models from the 1990s, which are now collector favorites because they look like peak 90s Japan. Bright colors, funky cases, weird chronographs, bowl head layouts, and futuristic for the time digital displays. Alba also has lines like the Alka Riki, connected to the design language of Riki Watabe, one of Japan's most important modern designers. Those pieces are usually simple, legible, minimal, and very Japanese in that quiet, practical way. So the brand can go from playful and weird to extremely clean and restrained, depending on the line. Price-wise, Alba is extremely approachable. On their current Japanese website, many men's quartz models are listed around 8,250 yen to only 14,300 yen, which places them firmly in the entry-level Japanese watch category. Outside of Japan, especially in places like Southeast Asia, India, and the Middle East, Alba sits in the same general first real watch zone. You'll see quartz pieces, dress pieces, sporty pieces, and some automatic models, usually priced far below comparable Seiko branded watches. Today, Alba is still active, but it's much more visible in Japan, Asia, and the Middle East than it is in places like America. Seiko's US site focuses on Seiko branded collections like Prospects, Presage, Seiko 5 Sports, Coutura, Essentials, and others. Alba is not even presented as a normal US Seiko retail line here. So for American collectors, Alba usually arrives through import sellers or people who physically brought one back from Japan. That makes Alba feel much rarer in America than it actually is globally. Alba isn't rare in the sense of low production, it's rare in the sense that US markets never really got the brand in an official way. So if you're an American collector, Alba is one of those brands that can feel like discovering a secret Seiko universe. It gives you that Seiko DNA, Japanese market weirdness, very reasonable prices, and a whole catalog of watches that most people around you have probably never seen or even heard of. But this is the only brand that we have two watches from. We have a vintage one, and then we have a more modern one. I'm so excited about all five of these watches. Let's get this started. This one, the case says Seiko on it, so that's cool. Oh, that's... Okay, so this is a 36 millimeter watch that was made in 1996. The reference number for this one is V743-6A10. This is the most vintage piece in this entire video. This is a quartz watch. This thing is just stunning. It's just a classic watch that would still work today. I like it a lot. And yeah, I'm sure you guys are surprised. Small wrist gang here. Don't often go for 36s, but when they're that pretty, it's hard to say no. And this, okay, so this was another thing I was looking for. I wanted papers from Japan. I'm a sucker for stuff like that. This is so freaking cool. Oh my gosh, a clock guarantee. This guarantee is valid only in Japan. Sucks for me. Wow. And there's the timestamp. So maybe I'm wrong. This looks like that was sold in January 21st, 1994. If I'm reading that date correctly, I could be wrong there. Wow, this is so cool. This is what makes JPFans awesome. And there it is, Seiko box right there. I'm not sure. I think this is the original box. I think these watches back in the day did come in Seiko packaging, but again, that's another thing I could be wrong about. Such a charming little watch roll here made out of foam. That feels very 90s. But the watch itself is gorgeous. As always, what Japan considers used is a lot different than what we consider used over here in America, because this watch is in excellent shape. I would say this watch is in worse shape than anything I got that was used in the first video. Those are also much newer watches. This one is about 30 years old, at least. So I get it, watch, I get it. Man, this thing is beautiful. Love the retro wristband. Very, very cool. Awesome. Great start here. I know Alba's supposed to be like the less expensive alternative to Seiko. This watch was not very cheap. This was like a $60 one, but I couldn't stop thinking about this watch. Without further ado, let's see if it's as charming in person. Ooh, that's nice. Nice little case here. Ooh, that's a pretty watch. Oh, that's gorgeous. Jeez. That middle portion of the dial there was really what got me. And it delivers in person. This is a brand new watch, as you can see, so definitely a more modern piece. I do have the reference number for this one as well. This is the AT3775X1. Man, I love this thing. It's so hefty feeling. It's more hefty feeling than most Seikos, I feel. It feels like a really, really robust Seiko bracelet. Has great pins on it. Man, this thing is awesome. This is way better than I expected, but it's, I guess, like I said, I think it's on the higher end of pricing for an Alba watch. I probably said Alba or Alba a million times. One of them will be right. I see why now. You have a screw down case back here. Awesome. 10 bar, so 100 meters of water resistance. That's great. This is a nice watch. This is awesome. All right, so like I said, this one was expensive for an Alba watch, but still not pricey. Oh, you got a push-pull crown here, so still for 100 meters of water resistance, that's quite impressive. And then obviously it's going to be a Seiko Mecha Quartz in here, and it looks like I got papers in this one too. Let's see what this came with. Has like the stainless steel hologram here. That looks cool. And then we have a guarantee booklet. It's such a glossy, like pearly white. This is one of the most beautiful chronographs. I also love the red on the subdial there. The outer circle there looks great. Everything about this watch looks exceptional, including the clasp, including the bracelet. Everything here is so good. This does not feel like a $60 watch. This feels like, in the States, this feels like a watch that would be $200 to $300. Not exaggerating. It is so robust feeling. Man, I'm pumped. We are off to a good start. We are off to such a good start. All right, well, that was far and away our most mainstream Japanese brand. It only gets more obscure from here. And next up, we have Wired. Some of you guys may have heard this one. This is another brand that is related to Seiko, but like I said, a bit more obscure, a bit more low-key. Let's talk about them. Wired was launched by Seiko in 2000. Seiko's own Japanese press material describes Wired as a Tokyo-born, next-generation fashion watch brand built around the concept from Japan to the world. The brand was meant to combine fashion and function with edgy designs aimed especially at buyers in their 20s and 30s. That tells you pretty much everything you need to know about Wired. Inside the Seiko ecosystem, Wired historically sat in a very interesting place. It wasn't trying to compete with the Presage, Prospex, or Seiko 5. It was less about heritage and much more about style. Wired gave Seiko a way to make watches that felt younger, sharper, more experimental, and much more tied to Japanese fashion culture. And when you look at the design language, that rings very true. Wired watches often have aggressive cases, layered dials, bold color accents, exposed screws, black IP coating, unusual bracelet designs, and chronograph layouts that look much busier than a traditional Seiko. A lot of them feel like their early 2000s version of futuristic, if that makes sense. Wired did a ton of quartz chronographs, solar chronographs, and digital pieces, 3-hand fashion watches, and collaboration watches. Wired has a very strong history of collaborations. The brand worked with Beams, who you'll meet soon, as well as Super Mario Bros., Metal Gear Solid, and other pop culture and fashion-adjacent properties. Price-wise, Wired historically lived in that mid-entry Japanese fashion watch range. You'll commonly see models in the 13,000 yen to 34,000 yen range. So where does Wired stand today? That's where things get interesting and kinda sad. Wired appears to be either discontinued, dormant, or at least no longer part of Seiko's main active brand presentation. I couldn't find an actual official Seiko statement saying Wired is dead, but I did find that Seiko's current Japanese brand page does not present Wired among its active core brands. And Japanese retailers like Yodobashi show many Wired models as sales ended. And that does also unfortunately make sense when you look at how the Seiko lineup has changed over time. Today, the Seiko 5 Sports has absorbed a lot of the accessible, youthful, collaboration-heavy space. So in a modern Seiko ecosystem, Wired feels like a brand whose role may have been replaced by the Seiko 5 Sports and other direct Seiko collaborations. In Japan, Wired used to be available through normal watch retailers, department stores, and electronic retailers like Yodobashi Camera. In America, Wired is uncommon. Again, Seiko's US site does not present Wired as part of the normal US product universe. Most American collectors find Wired watches through eBay, Japanese secondhand sellers, or vintage JDM dealers. And depending on the model, prices can be all over the place. A regular quartz Wired might be pretty inexpensive. A limited Metal Gear Solid or rare collaboration model can get wildly inflated. That's the thing with Wired. It's not necessarily a premium brand, it's definitely more of a culturally interesting brand. And for me, that's why Wired is so cool. It represents a specific moment when Seiko was trying to make watches that felt young, urban, connected, and distinctly Japanese. It's the kind of brand that could only really happen in the Japanese domestic market. Alright, excited for this one. This was one of the first purchases I made on this JPFans round, if not the first. Got another nice box in here. Looks good. Yes, another chronograph. This is a cool looking watch. Look at that. Like we talked about, this is the more youth-focused brand, and you can very much see that with this watch. I don't think it looks childish by any means, but just a more loud, vibrant design. Definitely more geared towards, like we said, 20s and 30s. But dang, doesn't mean it's not a high-quality watch. Love the black bracelet. I didn't expect to like this. I thought the black bracelet would look cheesy in person or cheap. And not this one. This looks phenomenal. Another very robust, heavy watch. And when I say heavy, I mean in a good way. They just feel very substantial, especially for what I think the prices in Japan are on these watches. They feel far beyond that. And this is another one where we have papers. Wow, the movement is on the back of this. It's the VK67 powering this watch. That's a Mecha Quartz chronograph movement from Seiko, obviously. This is another used watch, and this is more along the lines of what I was talking about, that Japan has a much different idea than we do in the States about what the word used means, because it's also hilarious in these ads on JPFans that I always see, which are normally on Macari. I think every watch, all 10 of them I've bought, have all been from Macari. But it's so funny. They'll disclose like things that we legitimately would not disclose at all. Things that would not be worth mentioning to us in America, like a small scratch. In Japan, they'll act like the watch is almost like insalvageable because of that. It's genuinely amusing. It's so cool. And this watch also looks like there's already been some links taken off, or maybe it's just size smaller because of who it's targeting. Let's see. I think I'm gonna be able to throw this watch on. Absolutely will. Yeah, this is gonna fit me. Wow, there we go. Dang, I love it. It looks phenomenal on wrist. The black bracelet, I like so much more than I expected to. And damn, those subdials look so good. I cannot believe this is how good cheap Seiko is. That blows my mind. Oh man, you also have a domed crystal here. Look how good that looks. Oh my goodness. I am stoked. Oh, there's more papers in here. Something, and that's all in Japanese. I don't know what this is. Something. If you are watching from Japan, let me know what this says, please. We got a pin remover right there. Very nice. And there's the extra links. So there are here. With 3 links taken off, normally a watch would be a little bit looser on me than this. And then there is the guarantee right there. This is so badass. I am obsessed with this experience. This guarantee is valid only in Japan. Sounds like I have an excuse to travel to Japan now. I hope one of these watches breaks so I can go to Japan. We have 2 more watches, 2 more brands. I thought this was going to be the cheapest watch on this entire video. This was the one I thought had the potential to be maybe disappointing, maybe a little bit kiddish. Nope, this is an amazing watch. Another 100 meters of water resistance here, another screw down case back. I think this is a push-pull crown. Yep, another push-pull crown. I want to say I paid somewhere around 40 for this. And yeah, it's definitely too tight on me. I'm going to have to add a link back on here. One more thing with this wired watch that I had to mention because I was getting ready to put one of those links back on it is check this out. You could size this watch as low as you want. So I think when it does come to a youth-focused watch, that's a pretty brilliant thing to do. So yeah, check that out. There is a removable pin on every link in this watch. That is quite impressive. So we have officially departed from Seiko land and we are entering Beams. This is a fun one. This is a brand that I fell in love with during this Japanese watch shopping journey. Let me tell you guys a little bit about Beams. Beams is not a traditional watch manufacturer in the way that Seiko, Citizen, or Casio are. Beams is a Japanese fashion retailer, lifestyle brand, and cultural tastemaker. That doesn't mean that Beams only does collaborations. That was actually the trap that I fell into when I first started looking into them. Because yeah, Beams is well known for collaborations with brands like Seiko, Casio, G-Shock, and Timex. But Beams also sells watches under its own Beams and Beams Japan labels. So with Beams, there really are 2 different watch worlds happening at the same time. First, you have the collabs and all the other special editions where Beams brings its design taste to an established watch brand. And man, are these things gorgeous. I especially love the Citizen and Timex ones. I think I'm gonna have to get one of those in the next JPFans haul. But then you have the Beams branded watches or other Beams sub-labels. They can be simple quartz watches, fashion watches, field style watches, digitals, or even chronographs. Beams is not trying to be Seiko, what they bring to the table is taste. The watch is usually more about design, styling, and cultural identity. A Beams chronograph, for example, is probably best understood as a Japanese fashion retail chronograph. It may use a Japanese quartz movement, it may be made by an outside domestic manufacturer, and it may have very little information available compared to a normal Seiko or Citizen reference, but that's part of the charm. In Japan, Beams watches are found through Beams stores, Beams online, and Japanese secondhand retailers. In America, they are way harder to come across unless you're importing them, browsing eBay and paying the shipping and import costs, or buying from someone who brought one back from Japan. Pretty interesting, right? And like you just learned, there's a lot of collaborations, and then there are Beams watches. This is a Beams watch. And in particular, I wanted a Beams watch. I didn't want one of their collabs. There is a wired Beams collab that you will see in the near future. I'll put it on screen right now. Let me know what you think of that watch. I think it's so cool. But this one, this is the watch I'm probably most excited for this entire video. Let's not waste any more time. Here we go. Yes, okay, let me put it where it's supposed to be. So this is called the Assembly Watch. And I think it's pretty obvious why it's called that. So if you guys watch my AliExpress videos, you know my obsession with the 2026 Thorn T028, which is a dive watch with interchangeable bezels. Well, this chronograph has the exact same thing. And I just could not get enough of that. Not only do I have 2 strap options to go with this stainless steel bracelet, I have interchangeable bezels. So as you can see, that's why this is called the Assembly Watch. What a freaking cool idea. This watch in person delivers on all fronts. And what's interesting too is I think I already called it a chronograph. It's not. It looks like one, but it's not, because as you can see, there's only a center crown, no pushers. So on this, you just have your day, date, and a 24-hour calendar. As you're probably seeing too, pretty compact watch, 37 millimeters in diameter, 10 in thickness, and 18 millimeter lugs. And according to Beams, with all these different combinations here, there are 9 different designs that this watch is capable of. Oh my gosh, this thing is awesome. And what I'm also seeing, as you guys may have as well, is there's some links down there, which makes me think this watch is gonna fit me again. So let's find out. And I will say, guys, this is so much better than last time. I'm having so much more fun. This is so cool. This feels like such a unique experience. I'm just loving it. Okay, let's see if this fits. Might be small. Like in my Japanese friends, you guys have small wrists like me. Oh, this watch is gorgeous. I love it. Price on this one, I want to say it was like 50 or 60. What a steal. There's extra spring bars for the straps you have here, so that's great. Then you have your 2 extra bezels, and then the 2 straps. I especially love this strap. Would not be surprised if I end up putting this one on, even though I will say this stainless steel bracelet feels great. I think I'm again gonna have to add a link back, which is weird for me. I so rarely have to do that, but it's a little bit tight. For a 37 millimeter watch, this thing has plenty of wrist presence. It looks beyond charming, and the fact that you can change it up is just so cool. Oh my goodness, I love this. I don't think I've seen very many watches like this, and the fact that it comes in this gorgeous box, could not get enough of that. Yeah, the fact that I didn't pay triple digits for this blows my mind. Oh, another small detail that's really cool here. All these bracelets have Beams engraved on the clasp. Man, really cool attention to detail here. Love it. And this is, as you can tell, a used watch. I mean, you can tell by the links being taken off, but again, Japanese used. This should be a term we use because this thing is like perfect. Everything here is perfect. Our last watch is one that I am confident that you guys have not heard of. Movement and Motion. If you have heard of them, props to you. If you haven't, here's a little bit about them. In my opinion, this is the deepest cut in this entire video. This is not a Seiko sub-brand. Movement and Motion is an original house label from Tic Tac, one of Japan's major watch retail chains. What makes this brand really interesting to me is that it does not feel like a traditional watch company trying to build some huge global identity. It feels much more domestic than that. Like a Japanese watch store looked at everything around them, understood what customers were actually buying, and then built their own label around that. So instead of some massive heritage story, Movement and Motion is more of a retailer-led Japanese watch brand. It sits in that world of practical specs, accessible pricing, and designs that feel familiar, stylish, and easy to understand. And I felt that this brand was perfect for this video, because this is the type of brand that you probably would not discover through American watch collecting. You're not walking into a mall in the US and finding a movement in motion display, and you're not seeing this push by any major American retailers. Most collectors here have probably never even heard the name. But again, in Japan, it's a way different story. You have Tic Tac stores selling Seiko, Citizen, Casio, G-Shock, Timex, and then sitting in that same environment, you have their own label. So it's very much a Japanese retail ecosystem watch. So they're not rare because there are some ultra limited watches. This is another one that is rare in places like America because they were never targeting us. The watches themselves can vary quite a bit. You will see some quartz pieces, chronographs, radio-controlled solar watches, mechanical watches, and designs that often feel very inspired by the broader world of Japanese watchmaking. Some of them feel like Seikos, and some of them feel like Citizens. Some feel like affordable Japanese dress watches, and some feel like clean, everyday retail pieces. But across the entire brand, the common theme is that they're usually practical, approachable, and beautiful. Price-wise, the brand usually sits in a very approachable range. A lot of their models land somewhere around the low to mid tens of thousands of yen, depending on the movement and style. So we're talking about watches that are typically much more attainable than luxury Japanese pieces, but definitely still interesting enough to feel like a true JDM watch. And the watch we're about to look at is a great example of why I felt like I needed to include this brand. Alright guys, we're gonna go out with a bang here for round 2, and one thing, did you think I was gonna get 10 watches total and not get an automatic from Japan? Whoa. That is a breathtakingly beautiful watch. Oh my goodness. We got the transparent case back. I believe it's the NH39 in here. NH39A in here. Are you kidding me? I paid $90 for this watch. And we have an open heart. Oh, this is insane. Oh my gosh, this watch is beautiful. This is, believe it or not, brand new. As you see, I have no box. Weird story with this one. On the listing, there was a box, but you had to pay, I think it was 5,000 extra yen for it, which equates to like $5 USD. But you had to ask. And with JPFans, I easily could have done that. I don't know what slipped my mind, but I forgot to ask for the box. I asked JPFans after the fact that any way they could make it happen. They reached out to the seller, weren't able to make it happen, but I do appreciate their attempt, and I'm confident they do the same for any of their customers, and that was really cool of them. But yeah, that's why there is no box here. Gotta read my listings more carefully, but not a big deal. I still got my papers here, and as it says, movement in motion, produced by Tic Tac. Tic Tac, like we said, watching other people sell watches and thinking, you know what, we can do this ourselves. But I thought they'd have no idea what they were doing. Boy, was I wrong. This looks like a Presage light, but I feel disrespectful even saying that, considering there's a great Seiko movement in here. It looks as good as a Presage. It feels as quality as one. This is ridiculously nice. I'm sure you can tell with the camera, but it is insane how robust this bracelet is. Wow. I am pretty speechless right now, to be honest. I cannot wait to size this watch and get it on my wrist. What a breathtaking piece. It's a little bit thick, but for this case style and this watch style, it kind of just adds to the charm. I'm assuming we have a push-pull crown. Yes, we do. No big deal there. The case back is going to be screwed down. Yes, it is. I love the movement in motion logo on the case back too. That just looks too cool, engraved on the case back. And is that a gold movement? That's a gold movement. Gosh. Oh my gosh, this watch is beautiful. If I was in-depth reviewing this watch for the price I got it at, which I think was $93 for this would probably be an A+ watch. That's genuinely how in love with this I am. Man, you guys have it good in Japan. Oh my gosh. I'm jealous of this just being a watch that's normal for you guys. Unbelievable. This is so cool. Wow. Alright guys, so that's gonna do it for this journey into Japan and watch culture. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I hope you learned a little bit too. I will leave my JPFans invite link in the description below. Make sure to sign up with JPFans if you're liking what you're seeing here. All of your guys' support is what's making these videos possible, and I cannot thank you enough for that. We've got a ton of videos coming soon, including more in-depth reviews, more list videos, more Does It Suck episodes, and plenty more. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. But until then, Shameless Watch Collector, signing out. And always remember, it's not that serious.